right, hang on one second, okay? Make sure I'm organized here.
Okay. Welcome. Welcome, all you smiling faces out there. Thank you. Let's get this party started. Congratulations to the MG class of 2025. Congratulations to their families. And as I say every year, this school exists because of you. Without you, we can't do this. Makes perfect sense, I think. Anyway, before I turn it over to our amazing staff, I want to do just a couple of thank yous and introductions in no particular order. I don't want anybody to get a big head. But this year, for the first time that I can remember, we have the mayor of Monona here tonight, Nancy Moore. Where is she? She's around here somewhere. Thank her for her service. In addition, we have the superintendent of the Monona Grove School District, Tanya Frederick, who's I think right over here. And of course, you all recall Dan Olson retired a year ago, so Tanya now completing her first year in that position. And then lastly, the MG21 Governance Board. And for those of you who don't know, MG21 is a charter school, and it is governed by a governance board under a charter contract with the school district. Something just happened to this. So the governance board is that board which is the contracting agency and which is ultimately responsible for the school. So a few of our governance board members that I see here tonight, Sandy Homburg, over here. Sandy, hand up. In addition, I see Elizabeth Wheeler. I also see Katie Moreau. She's behind the speaker, so I don't really see her, but that's okay. And then our newest addition to the governance board, starting in August, is Susan Fox, who is right here. And I failed to mention we have a school board member, not a governance board member, but a school board member here. Susan Manning is right down here. Elizabeth Wheeler always chides me that I never tell anybody who I am. So I'm going to rectify that, Elizabeth. I'm Tom Stolper, and I'm the president of the governance board. But you could tell that by reading this stuff. Thank you. In addition to the members that I mentioned, Ryan Claringbowl is also on the board. His family has strep, so he's avoiding the situation, which we think is a good idea. In addition, we have 3 board members who are retiring. First of all, Tony Gadke, retiring after 5 years on the governance board. Susan Carr, retiring after 6 years on the board. And Shenandoah Baker Wainwright, the student rep, alumni rep, excuse me, is retiring after 2 years. So that's kind of the crowd that as I see it. And so I'm going to turn it over to the staff, and I'm not sure who that is. I guess, okay, come on up. And before I do that, I just want to do one quick shout out for Rebecca Fox Blair, who is our school director. And let me tell you, she is amazing. So, Nell, you're up.
All right, I'm shorter. I'm Michelle. Hi. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I don't need a step stool, Jean. Okay, I do. How rude. Oh, wow. Power. Okay. Hi. Now can we hear me okay? All right. So each year, as we reflect on our graduating class, we look for a word or phrase that captures the heart of who they are. The first word I settled on for this group of seniors was growth. They have individually and collectively grown into a remarkable group of young adults. In fact, I wrote an entire speech about how much they have changed, about how they have not only grown up, but they've grown together. And then, this morning, I scratched that speech. Because while growth has been a part of their journey, it doesn't describe who they are now. Growth was the path. But where they are on their path right now, the word that describes them as young adults, that word is leaders. This year, the senior class has led our community through both action and example. They have led through action as they welcomed incoming students, passing on the torch of what it means to be a student at MG21 Upper Campus. They have led by example as they shaped our school culture by choosing honesty and accountability, even when it was uncomfortable, whether in restorative circles, difficult conversations, or moments of personal challenge. They led through action as they jumped in to help with 1,000 little things without being asked or expected to. They led by example as they balanced internships, apprenticeships, college classes, and real-world responsibilities with grace, and still showed up for each other and our community. This group reminded us that leaders don't always come with a title and great fanfare. Sometimes leadership looks like listening, like showing up, like helping someone find their way on their path. And this senior class is full of people who have shown up to lead our community. Their loss will be felt. They will be missed. I feel incredibly lucky to have been a part of their journey. I'm proud of the young adults they've become and even more excited to see the leaders that they will continue to be. And now I'd like to invite the class of 2025 up to tell you their stories, stories of growth, of connection, and of leadership. I'd like to invite Michael Schnel up to the podium first. You don't need the stool?
I mean,
Okay, I'll put it right.
yeah, if you would, that'd be wonderful.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you. All right, I need this. All right, yeah, I definitely didn't need the stool. All right. Let me get out my handy dandy speech here that was placed here for my convenience. All right. As I was just hoping. All right. Good evening to all, family, friends, staff, and graduating class. To those who do not know me, I'm Michael Schnell, but I was just introduced, so most of you should know me by now. I've been going to MG21 since my freshman year, and this place has made me someone worth being around. But today, we're at the edge of something new. This moment, this ceremony, is our light, a bright and steady beacon marking both a stopping place and a starting place. Behind us lies the harbor, the safety of the familiar, the everyday beach of our classrooms, our teachers, our friends, our families. It's been a place of growth, a place where we've learned to repair our sails, chart the stars, and believe in our compasses. But first we leave that harbor. We need to come to a stop and turn and face the rear in gratitude. To our teachers, the tireless guardians of this light. You didn't shine the beacon that guided us. You persisted when we had no concept of how much we required it. You rode through the stillness and the tempest, tweaking the wick, watching the flame, letting us always follow the path back to the truth, to enlargement, to self. You built that light gradually, brick by brick, lesson by lesson, not only in our heads, but in our souls. When the storms raged and we forgot the way, you stood steady on the shore, telling us that no storm could rage for a longer time than our potential. You didn't just prepare us for tests, you prepared us for life. You provided us with maps of seas we have yet to sail and taught us to trust in the compass within. To your patience, passion, and unshakable belief in us, thank you. You were the quiet strength behind every brave step we take today. To my fellow seniors, my classmates, and regrettably my supporters, you were the ones who stood with me when the clouds darkened and the waves became too strong. When I was lost, it was your strong hold of the ropes, your cries above the fog that assured me I was not sailing alone. You weren't only fellow travelers, you were your own captains. You provided example, you held your ground when the going got rough, and you urged me to be stronger when I wanted to navigate in a circle. You demonstrated how to chart, not only with proficiency, but with heart, with humor when the times were good and with valor when times were poor. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for being the lights I have followed when my own began to fail. Your guidance, your friendship, and your quiet strength have been the tide that swept me along more than you'll ever know. All right. You are the lighthouse on the beach and the sailors on board, always and always. And to our families, our guardians, siblings, and those who stood behind us as we continue, thank you to you all. You were an anchor when we needed peace of mind and the wind in our sails when we needed to move. You believed in us when we lost our faith in ourselves. Today is yours as well as ours. Now, it's time though. That lighthouse, the people who've guided us, the values who anchored us, the lessons that challenged and taught us, they don't disappear. They persist. They light the way for us when nights are long and seas are rough. When the storms come, and they will, they'll remember how it feels to be anchored here, to be seen, to be urged on, and believed in. But the lighthouse does not have to travel, and we do. Its function is not to keep us in back, but to remind us who we are when we are too far out of sight of land. And as we sail out of this harbor, let us do so with courage. Let us seek great questions, pose sincere answers, and chart our own sincere north. Let us be the kind of people who become lighthouses to others, strong, sympathetic, and aglow in the darkness. This is our moment to unfurl the sails, my fellow graduates. The wind is at our backs, let us go now, not at all because the harbor was bad, but because we were always destined for the sea. Thank you.
All right, mine will not be that good. Hey everyone, I'm Alex Anderson, and I'd like to start my speech with a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. This quote means a lot to me because I truly believe blind ignorance can be the make or break of a person. I think to sum me up as a person, I eat, breathe, and sleep volleyball along with back pain, and I live by the values of treating everyone equally. Throughout high school, I've grown as a person in so many different ways. Some huge challenges I've overcome in the last 2 years have been definitely not meeting my own expectations in sports, along with being too hard on myself and ultimately feeling like a failure, as well as facing tons of backlash for joining the military, surprisingly from some of my closest friends at the time, which has really made me question if this is the right path for me. I've learned that sometimes I like to deep thinkly about a question. One question that had me thinking super deep is someone once said that the military is the easy way out, which I guess could be seen for a multitude of reasons, like financial stability, low entry requirements, clear path and structure. One could argue that the military is in fact the opposite, with the reality being that the military is not a short-term escape. You can't just quit and run away when things get hard like you could a normal job. It requires years of service, strict discipline, and limited freedom. Another view on it is that the military could be seen as an easier, since you're not figuring out college or a way to make money, along with an adult life. The reality of that is that your schedule is structured, but you're constantly being physically and mentally tested. High expectations are put on you, and you live a demanding lifestyle. Everyone has a right to their own thoughts. What I can confidently say is I didn't choose the military because it's an easy way out. I chose the military because of how hard it'll be. I chose the military because I wanted a purpose and to continue being challenged in my life and find a place where I'm part of something bigger than myself. I'd like to end by thanking everyone who has supported me throughout my life, especially my family who's influenced my shape and path. My teachers, especially Belle, for always believing in me. We've all been told what we should do and who we should be, but let today be a reminder that we can each write our own stories, whether that means going to college, working, or still figuring it out.
Hi, I'm Ghost Flynn. I started here in sophomore year and found a really great community here. Before I came to this school, I was in a really bad place and I fully planned on dropping out the minute I turned 18. As you can see, that didn't happen. MG21 has taught me so much and given me so many opportunities I would not have had otherwise. Through MG21, I was able to complete a 7-month-long apprenticeship at Zimmer Honda and now have a great job in auto mechanics. I want to thank all of the teachers and staff for being here for me and making sure I get my stuff done, especially Jody, as well as my family and friends and my amazing girlfriend for always supporting me. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. I'm short, don't mind me. All right. Hello, my name is Jaden, and I'm finally a graduating senior of MG21, class of 2025. When I was little, everyone, myself included, had lots of expectations and assumptions about who I would become. All children have these assumptions of themselves, and it changes as they grow older. I was no exception. I was convinced that I'd run my own restaurant and have a family that consisted solely of a ton of cats. One part of that might still be true, and it's not the restaurant. Parents, though, always have the biggest assumptions about their children. It might not always be expectations, but almost always their child isn't who they expected. Take it from my mom in a letter she wrote to a teacher of mine my freshman year. Jaden has broken every rule I had as a parent before I had him. When you have a child, you have these ideas of what they will be and who they will become. I'm very glad Jaden broke these rules and became the person he is today. What more could a parent ask for? That their child is happy in who they are, that they grow and change as they get older. Jaden is an amazing person. I could not be prouder of the adult he's becoming. A lot of the reason I struggled to be myself was because I was afraid of disappointing other people. I can't breathe. But now I know that I'd rather people like me for me rather than like me from their idea of me. And you know what? The people who really care about me will show up regardless, no matter how many of their rules I break. I've learned so much over the past 18 years. My interests, my personality, my gender identity, my sexuality, my style, and more. And while I have learned a lot, there's still so much more to be learned. For example, I spent many years of my teenage life worrying about the future, and I still do. I already faced many challenges as it is, both mental and physical, which limits what I can and can't do. I know my path, my future, will still be filled with many sudden twists and turns. It won't always be what I expect. But what I have learned is to embrace it. I couldn't have done it without my family and teachers, my mom especially, who was both. So thank you to my mom, my father, my brother, my cousin, my dad, my stepmom, my grandma, my grandpa, my other grandma, my other grandpa, my other grandpa, Belle, Rebecca, Michelle, Ollie, and Jody. I don't know everything, of course. No one does. But what I do know is you should remain true to yourself, whatever that may look like. To love yourself and others, to be kind to yourself and those around you, to live each day like it's your last, to do difficult things, to have fun and be happy, to not cut life short and not leave it.
Hello, my name is Kit Brath. I currently live in Cottage Grove with my mom, little brother, and my pet rats. I've recently begun working with boarding dogs and cats, as caring for animals is a passion of mine. In my free time, I like to hang out with my friends and my partner. I draw all the time. I joined MG21 in 7th grade in the first middle campus class, and now, about 6 years later, I stand here to commemorate the end of my time here. I have grown so much as a student since enrolling. In those early years, I had trouble with time management, self-advocacy, and accountability for my schoolwork. Attending a school using project-based learning was what I needed to help me develop the skills I have today. Selecting a project focus, setting a timeline for completion, and defining the scope of the work helped me take better accountability and plan my time more effectively. When I started here, I had a hard time setting realistic goals and expectations for myself and rarely finished a project on time, if I finished it at all. I continued to learn and develop those skills through my junior year when I completed all my projects on time and with a level of detail I was proud of. This was a huge milestone for me and made all the difference in my work and learning processes. I've also grown a lot as a person. A big part of that has been responsibility, taking accountability for what I say and do, and also recognizing that I don't need to constantly wear myself down to make others happy. The biggest lessons I learned from my senior year have helped me get a start on how I want to live my life, to have those uncomfortable conversations, to make art, to balance my friendships, to submit that job application, to confess to that person, to take care of myself. Nothing will get done if you don't start at first, and it doesn't have to be big. A little progress is still progress. The road has been long but meaningful. I've experienced many highs and lows and come out stronger and wiser on the other side. I want to thank those who have been with me through parts of my journey, starting with my family, because I wouldn't be here without them, my teachers, obviously, and especially Michelle for helping me through Algebra 2 this year. Bug Kimmins, wherever you are. I always look forward to seeing you at school every day, eating at the buffet and driving around. And Sean Malik, my fellow senior, I've enjoyed driving you to school every morning. Every single morning. You've introduced me to a lot of new music that I've come to enjoy. And to Seth Stern, my best friend since I got here, I thank you for always being there for me. I love our hangouts and each one of our conversations. And finally, to Maeve, because these last several months have been the best times of my life, and I am excited for what the future holds for us, and I love you very much. So thank you to the school for picking me up from my lowest and guiding me to where I am now.
Hello, I'm Joey. I transferred to MG21 for my junior and senior year after realizing how much I was struggling in a traditional school environment. Despite my struggles, I was able to accomplish so many incredible things throughout my time in high school. I feel we all deserve the recognition we worked so hard for, and us seniors at MG21 don't receive honor cords for the many accomplishments that we've made along the way. So I've taken it into my own hands to award everyone with a rainbow cord to symbolize the diversity of our paths. To be on this stage in these really weird caps and gowns. But anyways, for me, this cord symbolizes my 4 years of dedication to the Monona Grove Drama Club and eventually winning Critics' Choice. My journey learning how to cope with grief and overcome addiction, building my sewing and designing skills, the hours of community service I've put in, my participation in the protests that took place when Roe v. Wade was being overturned, and the decision I made to come to MG21 for my last 2 years of high school. I feel satisfied with my achievements, though I am disappointed I didn't make it where freshman me thought I would. I didn't even ever think I would make it on this stage, much less past the age of 15. And I wouldn't have ever made it here without my teachers, Rebecca, Michelle, Ollie, Belle, Jody, Sophie, Stacy, and Jean. I also want to thank my parents for dealing with me during my worst times, and also my partner, Zach, for being there when no one else was. I also kind of just want to go off topic a little bit. I just want to take a minute to recognize the current state of this country. As Americans, we have the constitutional right to stand up for what we believe in, and I'm going to use that right. I believe we are facing a very severe social, environmental, and economical decline that has put an incredible amount of worry and stress on my peers and I. Our generation now faces the responsibility for repairing the damage that has been done to our society. Collective action is crucial. Our voices are stronger together. United we stand, divided we fall. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bella. I transferred to MG21 my sophomore year of high school, and I'm thankful every day that I did. At my past school, I struggled with their way of teaching and felt they lacked equality. Since I can remember, I've had many challenges during school, and that's an understatement. When I was little, I hated going and never learned the same as others. I was always told I would have to try harder than everyone else if I wanted to be successful. But whenever I would try harder, it felt like nothing was working. I would get made fun of for not knowing easy answers, and the teachers would often give up on me. I was always in smaller groups and needed extra tutoring, but nothing seemed to work. On top of this, reading was always harder for me due to my eye problems that made it hard to focus, and my dyslexia added on top of that. I would hate testing and never understood why I couldn't learn. I thought I was so dumb. It was the hardest thing and almost the death of me. Every night I would sit at the dinner table with each of my family members trying to do my homework, and each one gave up one by one. I would cry every night over school, and I just wanted to be as smart as my sister and other students. Thinking of these times, I think it's funny how I haven't changed that much. My first test I cried because I felt left behind, and during my last test in Michelle's DNA class, it was the same. I cried. And that's okay. To be honest, it gives me some peace to know deep down I'm still the same little girl who walked into school first time, and now I'm walking on the stage today graduating. My story shows that even if it takes a little bit more work to understand school, no matter how hard you try to understand, you can. And you feel like you can't, you can. As I've grown into the person I am today, I feel I need to raise my voice as much as I can for the ones who have lost theirs. As a non-binary person, I was raised with gender rules that were stacked against us. I came up against the boys will be boys mindset as early as elementary school when when a boy in my class touched me inappropriately, and the school I was attending responded by telling me to change what I wore and to just stay away from him. He never even got in trouble. He never got in trouble or got told to change what he wore or who he hung out with. Instead, he was told that touching like that was wrong and then sent back to class. In middle school, I heard the same exact thing, and in health class, we were told we need to cover up and wear a bra, and to not wear revealing clothes because it would be distracting. The message we got was our bodies were for show, and it was a bad thing to feel proud of your body, over-sexualizing us at such a young age. Despite this, they never said the same thing to boys. Last year, I was raped by two close friends of mine, and when I first came to the police, their first questions were, what was I wearing, and if I had done something to make it seem like I wanted it. Assuming what I wore decided if I got raped, assuming what I wore decided if I got raped or not. And I'm not the only one who was failed by the system. The support for women's rights right now are slipping away from our fingers as we speak, and we need to take a stand. So today, I'm walking on stage for my dad, who didn't get to, and who has always helped me and supported me when I needed it most. I'm also walking for my sister, who supported me, who has always supported me and saw the best in me, and for my grandma, who has taught me everything, always. And my whole family. I would never have made it without them. And I'm also walking on the stage for the little girl in me who would cry every day because she didn't think she could make it. I want to show that despite the tears and tough times, you can still make it. Thank you, everyone who has pushed me and helped me grow into the person I am today, especially my friends, Maddie, who has been there for me throughout all of school pretty much, and throughout everything, and Anna. She's just been the most amazing friend, and all my friends overall. And yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Madeline Schmuel. My journey along this path of education has been anything but easy. It's been rocky, it's been rough, and it's been difficult. But no matter what, I told myself I wanted to walk with my class along this last step of childhood. I want to thank Rebecca for coming to my aid and helping me find my way back to finishing high school. I want to thank Bella and my mom for being supportive no matter where I was on my path and which direction I chose to get here. I want to thank my daughter Maura for showing me that there is always light at the end of the dark tunnel. I want to thank my dad for showing me that your life and presence always has a bigger impact. Always has a bigger impact on someone else's life than you may think. Sorry. Last but not least, I want to thank everyone who was here witnessing me closing this chapter of my life and moving on to the next. Thank you.
Excuse my lack of a hat. I have a big head. Hello, I'm Aiden Terhol. I'd like to start from a quote from the band 10 Years. Travel's the very nature we'll live in, seasons to cycles, children to men. As I stand here, I think about how I made it here, the path I walked, the people I've met, friends made and lost, everything that's made an impact on my life. I often wonder where I'd be if I didn't go to MG21. I look back to middle school where I had no care for school or my future. I just want to sit around and play my PlayStation. Once my sister went, I really heard about project-based learning, and it felt like some sort of switch flipped. I felt determined to go into the school, and obviously I did. After a year of school closure, freshman year rolled around, and like most people, I was still mentally a middle schooler. I started to try and figure out who I was at the beginning of the year, and it was also when I first started playing guitar and getting really into music. It was through music I met my friend Logan, who really helped guide me through my freshman year and really all of high school. And towards the end of the year, I finally found my friend group and truly found myself. In the time between then and my senior year, I gained plenty. My car, my band, my job, and my girlfriend. This year, I've been spending a lot of time on myself, reflecting on the past and trying to somewhat plan my future. I leave MG21 having more than what I had coming in. I have my youth apprenticeship from Michelle annoying me, where I work at UW-Madison doing HVAC and mechanical maintenance, which is now my permanent job. I plan to continue pursuing this field for the rest of my life. I have an amazing friend group with people I care about and love, amazing supportive girlfriend who helps me with absolutely everything, and I leave with a sense of who I truly am. I have a couple of thank yous. Michelle, for annoying me in all the right ways and pushing me to do my best. Stacy, for always getting up and opening the door for me when I come in from work. Joel, for always being a positive influence in my school and music career. Jody, for being there and letting me endlessly rant to her. Ollie, for me and Sean's crap that you have to deal with. Belle, for always understanding my humor and also making me laugh. Jean, for your interesting stories and humor. Sean, for sticking with me for 12 years. My dad, for supporting me through everything. My mom, for always doing everything she can for me. My sister, for getting me into the school. Logan and Kyle, for being the brothers I never had. Roz, for always unconditionally caring about me and always being there. And last but not least, Rebecca, for endlessly dealing with everyone, everything, at all times, and keeping the school alive. Thank you.
Mind the mic. There you are.
All right.
There you are. Yeah, I recommend locking it. There you are. There you are. Are we just standing?
All right. Nope, you get it.
Okay. Good evening. Let's see. Okay. Good evening. I'm Connor. I've been a student here at MG21 for a total of 6 years, including attending the first year of the middle campus was open. But most of my memories are from after COVID, or from freshman year till now. I didn't know what to expect. It took me a while to adapt, but soon it became the perfect fit. The project-based learning side of the school fit exactly what I needed and encouraged working on personal projects in areas I was interested in. The school hasn't just helped me academically, the school has also helped me grow as a person. The school has not just brought me friends, but now I consider them closer to brothers and sisters. I can thank part of this to the class The Road to Indian Country taught by Gene, where we went on a service trip to the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. This trip was truly one of the most important moments, not just in my school life, but in my life as well. It ingrained the value of service into me more and reinforced friendships, and that became one of the most important things to me. When I think about the future, I'm not exactly sure where I want to go or what it looks like yet. I have a plan A, B, C, but maybe none of them really will actually work, but that's also okay. I'll end up seeing what happens. My ideal plan is to save up money to travel. I want to see other places and maybe work for a while in a place, maybe stay in Wisconsin, and then just move on. I like being outdoors, whether it is more leisure or work. Ultimately, I do want to move towards a photography career, which is something I have an absolute passion for. Still have a lot to figure out, but I'm sure I'll get there eventually. I would also like to thank Rebecca. Rebecca has been one of the best teachers I've ever had, and she's always been there to help, encouraged my growth massively, and ultimately, words can't explain my thanks. And then also, I would like to appreciate Michelle. Michelle has been there in a similar way. Michelle has even recently helped in potential future growth by taking me on a field trip to an operating engineer externship for the day. Michelle also tries to take pressure off of others to lighten the load, and yet again, words can't explain my thanks. Thank you very much.
Hello? All right. So Rebecca told me to add pauses, so hello. My name is Matthew. Not Matt, Matthew, because that's who's speaking now. In order to graduate, I need to do assignments based on who I am, and one of the bullet points for this speech was to talk about my values. And to be honest, I hate doing that. I hated every second of assignments that asked me to describe myself. It felt like lying, mostly because, well, none of us are caricatures of words. It felt like an insult to boil myself down to 3 words, to boil myself into a phrase. We are all complicated people, with things to hide and things to show. Hopes, dreams, fears, whatever. I admire people who seem to know exactly who they are. A luxury I never seemed to figure out, even after spending half my senior year trying. MG21 gave me an opportunity to be someone else, which I am grateful for. But to be honest, I don't like this someone else. Matt. The name is fine, but what it represents, I don't like. This mask works well at MG21, but will it work anywhere else? I don't know, and it scares me. I don't know what's going to happen after we all get in a circle, look at each other, then pick a direction and walk away like in the movies. I imagine it fading to black while the 12-mile list of movie credits plays in the background. But I know now that the camera keeps rolling. The biggest lesson at MG21 that I've learned is that forward always comes, no matter what. Time will keep rolling by, and the game will continue, so you deserve a stake in it. My final advice to MG21, keep your heart burning. I have seen so many students creating all kinds of stories, videos, art. You can call it cringe or whatever, but I encourage you to keep your heart burning, no matter what anyone says. Maybe it doesn't go anywhere. Maybe you can't draw hands or eyes. Maybe you don't know how Premiere Pro works and you use iMovie or WeVideo. Maybe you don't go anywhere, and that's fine too. Just remember, you can always, always dig out your soul and try again. Sometimes it only takes a thought. Show's over. Time for the spin-offs, where Sean's will get canceled first.
Hello, my name is Gavin Hamill. This is my 3rd year of being part of MG21. Since I started high school, I feel that I've grown so much. I think my biggest area of growth is how much I've grown and matured as a person. I've learned to solve problems so much bigger than me, and I'm proud of what I've accomplished so far. I am committed to living a life full of compassion, freedom, and happiness. I believe in treating others with kindness and understanding, and upholding my values while embracing new experiences. I believe truly being successful means being true to yourself, caring for others, and enjoying every moment. No matter what challenges I face, I will stay strong. Over the past few years, I've faced so many challenges that have really helped me understand who I am. I've learned to stay strong even when things are hard. At MG21, I found a place where I'm able to be myself and continue growing as a person. The teachers here have supported me throughout my journey. Even when I felt stuck, they kept pushing me. There were times when life felt unfair, and I wished things would happen differently, but I've learned something important. Love the things that I most wish didn't happen. This helped me accept hard moments instead of running away from them. I would like to thank all of my friends, family, teacher, and my girlfriend Lola. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here today. To my fellow MG21 seniors, I want to share a quote that I saw in a movie that has shaped how I live my life. Don't be afraid to dream big. It doesn't matter where you come from. You can show the world nothing is impossible. To the class of 2025, don't be afraid to dream big. Congratulations and thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Zoe Matias. Today, I'd like to share some heartfelt words to inspire my classmates and anyone here who might need some encouragement. Now, before you think I'm just a carefree adolescent, let me assure you that I've faced various challenges and learning experiences throughout my life. After finishing high school, I've come to realize that I'm not quite ready to graduate. It's not that I don't feel like I've learned enough, it's rather that I've always viewed this moment as a final escape from everyday stress. However, standing here now, I understand that school was actually a refuge from life's tough responsibilities. Graduating means saying goodbye to the small freedoms of childhood and entering a world where I'll have to work endlessly to survive. So, here's my advice to everyone here. Push yourself to work hard, even when you're exhausted. Go beyond your limits and show yourself that you can persevere. Life can be challenging, but you have the strength to overcome it. If you want life to become easier, you must first face its difficulties. It may take several years or even longer, but in the end, it will all be worthwhile. Stay motivated by discovering your purpose and passion. My passion has been welding, and for me, my purpose has always been my friends and family. My class is filled with some of the most genuine people I have ever met. I've learned so much from them, and even though I may not see some of them for a while after today, the bonds we formed will always hold significant value in my life. Now, I would like to thank a few people who have made a significant impact on me. My teachers, my family, and my classmates, of course, all deserve big thanks. My brother, Noah, who's not watching and just flipped me off. Andrea Friesen, Rebecca, my stepmother, Rebecca, and my partner, Zachary. All of these people have been there for me, supporting me in my journey through my senior year every step of the way. My partner Zachary Satterfield has been with me, helping me through every hardship since the end of my sophomore year, always knowing how to make me feel better when no one else can. He never gets mad with me or gives up, and I truly admire him for that. Congrats, guys. We're done with high school now. Thank you.
I'm getting nauseous. All right. So, I feel very humbled by everyone else's speeches because I did not put as much thought as I feel like they all did, but here it goes. Hello, my name is Fritz Novak. I personally value things that are unconventional, like the way that I dress, niche music and movies, unique art that makes you feel something, and I feel that it's important to see the greatness and rawness in these types of things. You could even call MG21 an unconventional school. I've gone to MG21 since my junior year, and I think that is one of the best decisions I've ever made. Before I transferred schools, I had a lot of trouble socially and holding myself accountable academically. I felt really unstable in a variety of ways, and I didn't quite get how to build connections with new peers. I also had a very negative view of school and just other people entirely. MG21 was able to change my perception very quickly. On my second day of school here, an entire group of kids asked me to hang out with them after school, and that was the shortest amount of time it's ever taken me to make friends before. One of my big takeaways from MG21 is that there are people and a place out there for everyone. You just have to keep searching until you find it, and you are good enough to be the person that you want to be. I haven't yet quite decided what I want to do after high school, and I've chosen to wait a moment and let myself figure it out instead of jumping into something that I'm not so sure about right away. I hope in the future to be able to have my own place where I feel comfortable and be surrounded by people that I feel that I belong with. Some advice I would give to those yet to graduate, especially to other neurodivergent kids, would be to give yourself breaks. Don't work yourself past your breaking point. Constantly going through the cycle of burnout and recovery is not going to help you get your work done and learn. Talk with your teachers if you feel overwhelmed, because they can always pull some strings to help you get back on track. I want to thank the entire staff of MG21. You guys have changed my negative view on teachers that I had from my old experiences. Thank you to all the students for being my friend and making me feel welcomed here at this school. Thank you to my family, and thank you to all of you to being here today. I'm going to end this off with one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite shows, BoJack Horseman. It gets easier. Every day it gets a little easier, but you got to do it every day. That's the hard part, but it does get easier. Thank you.
This is weird. Sorry about that. Hey, I'm gonna try that again. I'm Sean Malik, and this is my graduation speech for my senior year of high school. It's really quite cathartic being up on this stage, I think, after hearing so many stories and seeing so many of my friends, and just now, even last year, seeing my friends and just now, even last year, walk upon the stage and give their speeches. Everything before this has led to right now. A couple years ago, for reasons I won't share publicly, I saw it as, and I quote, highly unlikely that I would be graduating or let alone walking upon this stage. Shoot, sorry. But with the way my life was going, but I'm happy to say that not only am I graduating, but I'm truly the happiest I've ever been. I love my friends, I love my boyfriend, and I love my family, and now here I am. I think I've accomplished a lot during my time at MG21. I'm extremely proud of how far I've come in nearly every aspect. When I first came here and got accepted into the school, I was an extremely timid and fairly awkward person, which to a point is still true. But in the last 2 years, I have come leaps and bounds as I've learned a lot about myself, like my passion for graphic design and our local music scene. This realization has led to me realizing my dream career and what I eventually want to do with my life, even if down the line. I really, really want to open my own record label to help local musicians book shows, post music, and sell their shirts and merchandise and all that. Sounds like a total blast. MG21 has also helped me reignite my love of photography, which is also something I'd love to pursue. Once again, for the bands I love, taking photos professionally would be so extremely cool. Obviously, I don't want to talk on and on about my future and what I want to do post-high school, but I hope this helps me to paint a picture of the things I'm into and the kind of person I am and eventually want to be. I want to do a quick round of thank yous because obviously I didn't accomplish all of this by myself. And I want to start with Ollie and the rest of the MG21 staff. I am going to dearly miss all of you. And I know I'm not alone in feeling that way. I'm going to miss making stupid jokes with Ollie every hour and somewhat am dreading losing that privilege. Michelle kept me and everyone else grounded and on task. We butt heads a lot, but I don't want that to be misconstrued to seem like I don't appreciate her or like her at all or like her. That was really, I messed that last part up. Belle, I missed you all year. I didn't have a single one of your classes this year, and it's really messed up that I didn't have any Belle classes, which is really weird because I had you a lot last year, I feel like. And that really sucks, but I'm going to miss you too. And then to end off the teacher segment, I want to thank Rebecca. Similar to Michelle, she really kept us on task, especially this senior class with how crazy these last like 3 weeks have been, especially. Hanging out with everyone during the senior wilderness trip really made me realize that my days in high school were numbered. That circle on the campfire before we went to bed really put it into perspective for me that this was the last big get-together we would all have before graduation with each other in school together. And it was a really strange realization to come to. It was by far the most magical and entertaining field trip I'd ever been on. I do want to end the speech with another round of thank yous for the people closer to me than just beyond school. And I want to start that off with my friends Pax and Devin, who unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, specifically for picking me up when I was down and sticking with me for the last few years. And I'm eternally grateful for how you guys and Melissa have treated me and for being as supportive as you are. The three of you like family to me. I want to thank my dad for keeping my head on straight and letting me come here after me and my mom begged him to let me enroll. Really one big thank you to my entire family. Without them, there's no me, obviously. And lastly, one final massive thank you to Fritz and his entire family. I love you guys, and I'm extremely thankful for all you have done for me and consider myself incredibly lucky to be seen as part of your family. High school was a wild ride, but overall, I'm really happy where I ended up. Thank you.
How about one more round of applause for all of those? I'm amazed every year by the speeches from the students. It comes from here. And it's frankly a blessing to be able to hear you folks talk that way. So thank you. I'm here to present the MGBMA Scholarship. MGBMA is the Monona Grove Businessmen's Association. It is a club. It's a service club, raises money, a couple raffles a year, and one of the uses of the money that's raised through the raffles is to give scholarships to high school students, not only here but at the main high school, and we actually include McFarland in the mix so that we kind of spread the wealth, so to speak. This year's recipient of the MGBMA Scholarship is a student who exemplifies the values of leadership, kindness, and humor. This student is a voracious reader, beautiful writer, and an excellent student. He served as the student rep on the MG21 Governance Board for 2 years, plans to attend Madison College in the fall for pre-engineering. I think everybody's figured out. I'm speaking about Michael Schnel. Michael.
Hi, I'm pleased to be here to award the Jerry and Ann Nelson Scholarship. Jerry and Ann Nelson have long been supporters of MG21. I met Jerry my very first year teaching, long time ago, when he was a guidance counselor at MGHS. Due to some serious health concerns, they're unable to join us tonight to award this scholarship, and we send them our good wishes. This scholarship goes to a student who is a talented videographer who interns for the district and will be attending Madison College for video design and production in the fall. I feel like we will see him in film or television in the future. Please join me in congratulating Matthew Martinez.
Hello. I'm here to introduce the presenter of the Madison Monona Optimist Club Scholarship. Brandy Munn, please come on stage.
It was, I was just going to read the story, but it was so interesting listening to all your stories. And first of all, for the one who's got dyslexia, and I don't remember your name, but my oldest grandson has dyslexia, and 2 weeks ago graduated from St. Norbert's University. And so all things are possible. The fact that I graduated from Monona Grove in 1965 and from UW Whitewater was probably a surprise to every one of my teachers. Jerry Nelson was my guidance counselor, and they probably didn't think I would ever amount to much, because that's the way life is when you're in high school. It was a different era. We didn't look the way you guys look. I never had much more than a crew cut that my dad thought that was pretty long. Anyway, this has been a real joy tonight. I want you to all go forward with your eyes wide open, have fun, and my best advice is 2 bits of advice. One is, whatever you choose as a job and a career, make it something you should enjoy. I never, in my entire life, I had 3 jobs. I worked for the YMCA for a long time. I was in the office products business, and I finished up with the Swanson companies. And I don't think I ever had a day that I did not want to get up and go to work. And I highly suggest that that's what you do. Do something that you really want to do. It makes life a lot of fun. I just dreamed that up sitting there, because usually in the past I don't do a lot of things. The other bit of advice is always be involved in the community and always give back in some degree. I joined the Optimist Club in 1972. Ed Schwann, who the auditorium was named for, was the principal and then superintendent of schools in Monona when I went there. And we were on a bowling team together, drank beer together, played golf together, and all kinds of other things. And there were a lot of members of the teachers from here who were in the club. And since the 1960s, we've given scholarships to Monona Grove, La Follette once it opened, and now MG21, and very glad to do so. This year's recipient, by the way, just as an idea, the Optimist Club planted every single tree on Nichols Road. Okay? We had somebody who had a backhoe digger, and we'd take a Saturday and take Bloody Marys and beer. And I'm being honest about life in the 70s. Yeah. In the 60s, we put a pig in the courtyard at the old MG High School one summer evening and greased it. You should have seen the custodial staff trying to catch it. I could tell you a lot of stories. Anyway, the student who is the winner of our award is a talented artist and writer with a passion for the outdoors, backpacking, and caring for animals. My second grandson is majoring in wildlife ecology at Stevens Point. He plans to attend Madison College and eventually transfer to a UW school. The scholarship I presented at Monona Grove was a young lady going in animal ecology at UW, and my grandson is going to Stevens Point majoring in the same thing, along with beer drinking. Anyway, Kit brings a lot of values of compassion, personal responsibility, and strength to the lives of all those around him. On behalf of the Optimist Club, I'm very glad to introduce Kit Barth and give him a scholarship presentation. Congratulations and good luck. There you go. Don't forget to write a thank you there.
Hello, folks. I'm Belle Haynes, teacher advisor here at MG21, and I'd like to invite our newest upper campus teacher to join me up on stage. Ollie Harris, come on down. I plan to give a speech about my favorite memory with each of these wonderful young people, but I thought it might be more fun if we played a little game. We're going to tell you a memory with one of these seniors, and you're going to try to guess which senior we're referring to. Keep score in your own heads, honor system. We'll take one guess from the audience per question, so you can volunteer. Students, I'm going to call on you last, because you guys probably know all of these. So yeah, it's got to be a challenge. First up, this senior was my assistant dungeon master in Dungeons & Dragons this year, and I will never forget their cool, confident sous chef character, Chon, who tragically perished in a giant prawn-related incident. Anybody got a guess? Yeah, right there in the middle. Good guess, but no, it was kids. Yes, it is. Next, when they were younger, this senior performed full-length Shakespeare plays with young Shakespeare players, the same acting company that I performed with over 15 years ago. It was Fritz! Yes!
This student lied to me, mostly as a joke, 41 times in a 2-week span. It was so excessive that I started keeping track on the whiteboard. I need non-students here. Yeah. No, it was Sean Malik. Yeah.
All right, this senior's signature line at work this last year was, "Welcome to Culver's, comrade. What can we make fresh for you today?" Yeah, Maeve. It is Michael Schnel. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
This senior has a signature font, New Rocker, that we like so much. Sometimes we use it to take notes on our staff meeting documents. We exclusively refer to it by this senior's name. Oh, yeah. It is Ghost. Yeah.
Last year, this senior helped me write a grant application for our athletic program at the school. The night before the grant was due, we started a Zoom call together to edit the document. I asked them what they thought of a sentence I'd changed, and there was silence.
For a moment, I was proud that they were thinking about it so closely before I heard. When I asked, "Are you playing video games right now?" They said, no. Any guesses? Yeah, over there. That sure is Alex Anderson, everybody. However, we did finish that grant, and he did help, and we did get the grant, so.
All right, this student wrote a short story that is being published in a literary magazine this month. Get your lit mags, folks. They also wrote a sequel and an anthology of a short horror fiction. Yeah, it is Jaden.
In their sophomore year, this student made a plan to spend a month camping in the woods without their phone to unplug. When I asked them where they planned to live, they said, unclear, somewhere with woods around here. Yeah. Oh, good guess, but no, this one was Connor.
During playwriting class, this student wrote a satirical critique of the American political system featuring a romance between President Trump and former President Joe Biden. Yeah, Gene. No, this was Aiden Terhol.
This student has one of my favorite laughs of all time. I could easily pick it out of a full audience of people laughing. Some might describe it as a cackle, but I think it's absolutely delightful. Any guesses? Yes, in the white back there? It is Joey. Yes, it's absolutely Joey. It's my favorite thing ever.
This student once confessed to me that they had done nothing for an online class 1 week before it ended. And when I threatened to tell Michelle on them, they literally begged me not to and then finished it in one day. Ooh, no guesses. Vera? No, this was Gavin.
On the senior wilderness trip, when everyone was tired, hungry, and grumpy after a rainy hike, this student radiated positivity, brightened everyone's spirits, and demanded that we sit around the fire and sing songs. Josh? Good guess. No, it wasn't Kit, it was Zoe. This senior has 10 names, and I have memorized all of them in the right order. Anna? It is Matthew Arturo Martinez Gonzalez Castro Torres Davidson Bianchetti Wallstead Beecraft.
All right, last one. This student has, well, these students have, on multiple occasions, hosted impromptu hallway karaoke, walking down the hallway with a microphone and a speaker while singing. These two students were often so inseparable, it seemed wrong to split them up for this game. Yeah. It is Bella and Maddie.
Thank you all. Up next on the stage is Jody.
I got this. I do need the step. Does it just pull out?
Yeah, just pull it out. All the way.
Sean, I did it. Okay. Oh, bug. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm going to literally read right off the paper. I apologize. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Jody Anderson, and I've had the absolute joy of providing student support for many of the remarkable young people here tonight. As we gather to celebrate this milestone, I want to share a few words from the heart. Graduation is not just the end of something, it is the beginning of everything. The next chapter, the next leap, and yes, the next mistake you'll laugh about later. Sorry, I just need a breath. First and foremost, be your authentic self. I've had the privilege of watching so many of you grow into unapologetically real versions of yourself. Whether you were sneaking through my doggy door, showing up fashionably late looking like a runway model, or convincing everyone that your shouting matches with me in the hallway were serious, your uniqueness has been a gift. Be kind. You never know what someone else is carrying. Many of you have shown me kindness in the most unexpected ways, like call me on a Friday night to ask if I want ice cream just because you and your friends happen to be in my neighborhood. Helping me replace my car battery and windshield fluid, and all of you for keeping track of my priceless small violin. Together, we've shared kindness in moments like spending a whole day with a friend in the hospital, sharing Chipotle lunch and stories, and really listening to one another. I remember a day we all took the city bus and ended up waiting at a less than safe stop, but even then, we found a way to connect and make a new friend. These moments remind me that kindness is more than just words. It's showing up, being present, and caring for others, even when it's unexpected. Stay curious and keep growing. I've seen you push through hard days. We've taken naps in parked cars. Sorry if I snored, Jaden. And dodged school security with me once or twice. Aiden started that. And I've taken data on your hallway wanderings, Gavin. Laughed at your ridiculous impressions, and even watched you try to gift a pair of stinky sneakers at a holiday party, Sean. Through it all, you've taught me more than any textbook ever could. Believe in justice, advocate for others, speak up when something's not right, even if your voice shakes. I've seen you do it. I've seen you show up for one another, sometimes when no one else did. I remember one day during a class discussion about racism, one student got vulnerable and spoke from the heart. And without hesitation, one of our seniors walked over, shook their hand, and said, "Well done." That moment stuck with me. It was so simple, but full of grace, recognition, and respect. To the student I bonded with through rock and roll lyrics, Ghost. The one who's kept me in Visine and Tums debt since 2022, Aiden. The one I've fed approximately 1,000 snacks to and had late night tacos with, Alex. The one who designs outfits cooler than anything I've ever worn, Fritz. The one who's been ready to graduate for the past 3 years, Jaden. And the one who every Friday before the weekend I remind, don't take a life or make a life, Gavin. To the student who might actually be a Russian spy, that accent is just too good, Michael. The most talented and beautiful welder I've ever seen, Zoe. The one who finally returned my dog bed, Joey. The one who once scaled the side of a building to get into her friend's apartment because that's just who she is, Bella. The one who passes gas and then innocently asks, "Who did that?" Sean. To the one who showed me the joy of Rat's googly eyes, Kit. And to the filmmaker who will absolutely win an Oscar one day, Matt. I see you, all of you. Every one of you has left a mark on me. You've made me laugh until I cried and sometimes peed a little. You sat in my office, in my car, and in the hallways. You've inspired me and reminded me why this work matters. I love you all like my own. And I'm endlessly proud of you, not for being perfect, but for being brave, being kind, being real, and showing up. Thank you for letting me be part of your wild, weird, wonderful world. Now go out there, kick some ass, and keep being exactly who you are.
What if I use that? Let me see. Actually, yeah, because I don't have mats. Oh shoot, I don't have my glasses. Okay. All right. Got it? Yeah. Yeah. I want folks to be able to get behind me. Why don't you use the other mic? Okay. Because I. Okay.
Got my readers, you need
Oh, thank you, Scott. You're my hero. Hi, everyone. So now is the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to present diplomas, and the first one goes to Alexander Martinez Anderson. Yeah. Okay, you'll hand them. Okay. Jaden Leanna Bain. It's not on there. Kit Brath. Ghost Flynn. Gavin Richard Hamill. Sean Michael Malik. Zoe Eve Matthias. Matthew Arturas Martinez.
I'm just trying to make sure my hat doesn't fall off.
Yes. Yes. Should we, we'll go down. Yeah. Connor Morey. I know, I don't know where to go. He's gonna go back there. Yeah.
Okay, careful, careful,
Yeah,
careful.
I got it.
Come on.
Congratulations,
I'll just
sweetheart.
take
Awkward hug, awkward side hug.
We are not going down the stairs.
No, we're going that way. Just go that way.
Fritz Novak.
Something with it's my fault. I love knocking hats off. Sorry. One more.
Madeline Hannah Schmuel. Michael A. Schnel. Aiden Richard Terhol.
Should we try it again?
Isabella Ann Wellman. And Josephine Ami Went. One more round of applause for all our graduates. Congratulations, you guys.
I'll keep those. You'll keep them. Stace, can I give you this? I'm going to keep the reader, Scott, if that's okay. Well, we're coming to the end here. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I want to just do a couple quick call-outs. Thank you to Joel Jarosky, former MG21 teacher, for being here. Denise Peterson, former MG21 board member. And thank you to everyone for being here. If you didn't know, that was Stacy Levin, who was up here with me. And I want to start by thanking Stacy for her tireless and beautiful artistic work in creating all the grad signs, the programs, our school yearbook, and coordinating tonight's event. Thank you to Will Nimmo and Brennan and their team for streaming tonight's event on the Monona Community Media YouTube site if you are interested in rewatching this. And finally, thank you to the entire MG21 staff for their compassionate and dedicated work over this entire year. I'd also like to thank our superintendent, Dr. Tanya Frederick, for her guidance and support and advice this year. This was my first year as the school director of the school, and I greatly appreciated her guidance and wisdom. And I'd like to thank the MG21 Governance Board for all their support. As we wind up our graduation ceremony, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight to celebrate our graduating seniors. This is always such a bittersweet moment for me. I'm so excited for all of our students, but also heartbroken to see you go. I'd like to end with a few final words. Desmond Tutu once said, "Hope is being able to see that there is light despite the darkness." If you know me, you know that I am an optimist at heart. Standing here today, surrounded by all of you, I feel something deeper than just optimism. I feel hope. Hope is more than optimism. It's not just a sunny outlook. It's the courage to believe in a better tomorrow, even when today feels uncertain. And in this moment, looking at each of you, the MG21 class of 2025, I'm filled with hope. You are a remarkable group of human beings, strong, compassionate, and deeply grounded in who you are. You know what you stand for. You know the kind of world you want to live in, a world that is rooted in justice, equity, love, and peace. And you're not afraid to ask for it, to work for it, and to make it happen. You raise your voices. You create through music and art and writing. You take action when it matters most. You are powerful and fierce and forces for change. I believe in you, and that belief gives me hope to face the future. MG21 class of 2025, may your path forward be filled with light and hope and all the goodness you so deeply deserve. We love you. Please join me in congratulating the graduating class of MG21 class of 2025. You can move your tassels over. We have a lot of refreshments. We hope you'll stick around and join us for cake. Oh, and I'd also, belatedly like to thank the MG21 FTF for their gift for the students. Thank you very much. The Family Teacher Forum. And please stick around and join us for refreshments, cake, punch, all the things. Thank you again. Woo!